Hi everybody, it's Jessica and Dave here, your Anderson's agronomy team. Today we are going to talk to you about selecting your right nitrogen source for sidedress. So going into that, first we want to talk about why to sidedress your corn.
Yeah, it just splits up your nitrogen. That's key number one. I feel like if you can spoon feed your nitrogen, you're going to be in a lot better position. It's kind of like, I'm patting my belly here. It's kind of like if I sit down and eat all of my calories for the day at breakfast, I'm going to be taking a nap by 10 o'clock.
And then you're going to be hungry.
And then I'm going to be hungry. So, but if I can split those calories out over the day, then I can have energy throughout the whole day and be productive.
Sustain your energy.
Sustain my energy, yeah.
Also, another way to look at it is splitting up your nitrogen applications helps reduce your losses to the environment.
Yeah, and here at the Andersons, seriously, we are all about the 4 R's and reducing nutrients getting into the waterways, especially the lake. A little bit farther west, the waterways dump into the Mississippi and down into the Gulf, which are, they're having a lot of issues down there.
So the Andersons, we are based out of Toledo, Maumee, Ohio, which is right in that Lake Erie water basin. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that we are reducing our environmental impact as much as possible. And one way we do that is with the 4 R's. So those 4 R's are your right rate at the right time, at the right source, at the right place. So looking at that, we are applying our nitrogen at the right rate, so we don't want to over-apply. Mm-hmm. We're spoon-feeding that plant throughout the season, so not giving it too much up front, but putting it there at the amount it needs it, at the right time, so when it needs it, and at the right place, so right in that root zone. Also, looking at the right source, we want to talk about breaking down those nitrogen sources and how to select the right nitrogen for your situation.
Yeah, and sometimes you're locked in for because of the equipment you have,
or what's available in your area.
What's available in your area, what the size of the plant is. But so we're going to talk about some different options, and we're going to start out with Anhydrous Ammonia. Anhydrous is probably in the Midwest the most available product, I would say.
Also 82% nitrogen.
It's the most economical product because you're getting so much with that 82%. But the drawbacks, and there's a lot of drawbacks with it. It's dangerous because it is highly compressed gas. And so if you got to have specialized equipment, and if it does come out and get on you, it's gonna burn you pretty bad. And you do need to bury it. You need to bury it 6 inches because it's going to expand about 6 inches in the soil.
And that's because you're applying it in the form of a gas.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
So then when it comes out of that pressure chamber of your anhydrous tank, then it automatically wants to expand to its full form.
Yeah, and you can't be too wet or too dry or it'll escape up in the air.
And like you said, too, it can burn you, but it can also burn the plant.
It can burn the plant very easily, yes.
But positively, you do get a lot of nitrogen in that anhydrous application, so it is extremely effective and economical.
Yeah, very economical. The second one we kind of wanted to talk about, there's not a whole lot of this in the area. We have one farm center in central Indiana that does manufacture and provide this source of nitrogen to their clients. It's Aqua Ammonia. It's 24% nitrogen.
Which it's anhydrous, but not under pressure.
Yeah, exactly. To dumb it down, they take anhydrous, they mix water with it. They ammoniated that water. And so it is still dangerous. It will burn your skin, but it's not under pressure, so it doesn't jet out at you. You still have to bury it, but the field conditions don't have to be perfect like with anhydrous. So you can get away with it being a little bit on the drier side or a little bit on the wetter side. Economically, it's just about as good as anhydrous, maybe a penny or two off. But it does a really good job of providing nitrogen to that plant.
So another nitrogen source that we want to touch on is UAN. So that's Urea Ammonium Nitrate. Most people deal with UAN in either 28% nitrogen or 32% nitrogen. It's either or, but they're both the same general makeup. Just one has a little bit more nitrogen.
Yeah, probably it's super easy to store. Any farmer can store it. Any farm center can store it. It's in a liquid form. You can add other nutrients to it very easily and inject it at the same time.
It's a very easy nitrogen.
Very easy nitrogen.
It's very versatile compared to the anhydrous or aqua. So you can apply that UAN like above the soil, in the soil. Where that's applicable is if you are a little bit later in the season because it was too wet, you couldn't get into the sidedress exactly at sidedress time, and the corn's too tall. So you put on some Y-drop applicators or something. You can then dribble on that UAN directly to the soil surface. It'll get down to the roots, or you could apply it over the top.
And there are some studies that are showing some great positive results with actually applying UAN with the Y-drops, like you said, post-pollination.
And it does have the danger of burning the plant tissue, so it's not entirely plant safe, but it is possible.
It is possible, yes. Urea's probably worldwide the number one source of nitrogen. It's a dry product. It's 46% nitrogen. Very versatile again. You can inject it. You can put it over the top. There's a lot of farm centers that are purchasing high clearance spreaders now, and so they can top dress urea over the top. You can also, I've done this when special situations, it's super wet, can't get in the sidedress, you can actually fly it on also.
And there is still a potential to burn your plant tissue. But again, not as great as if with the anhydrous.
Much less.
Much safer.
With anhydrous and also UAN, much less with it. Probably the main drawback is that the product is so light, it's hard to get a real good spread pattern. And so a lot of times people have to double spread it.
And that double spreading is cutting the rate in half and going over that field twice.
Yeah, splitting your centers. So that's probably the biggest drawback to that source of nitrogen.
But all of the nitrogen sources that we talked about, so anhydrous, aqua ammonia, UAN, or urea, they're all very effective.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of selecting what is right for your equipment in your situation and your timing. So looking at all of the drawbacks and benefits to each. But again, with each, you always run that risk of losing the nitrogen to environmental losses. So we want to make sure that anytime you put nitrogen out, we recommend a nitrogen stabilizer.
Yeah, and the nice thing about aqua or UAN is that we do have a liquid product, UltraMate LQ or UltraMate Zn, that you put on at a gallon to the acre, and it carbon chelates that product and protects it from some environmental issues.
And that goes back to the 4R principles. So keeping that nitrogen exactly where it needs to be, where that plant needs to use it, instead of running off into the water where we really don't want it. And that's a waste of money. Yeah. It's not where you need it to be. So that's all we have for you today. If you have any questions about anything we talked about today, feel free to reach out to your Anderson's representative. You can visit andersonsplantnutrient.com or Andersons Plant Nutrient /agriculture on Facebook. Thank you.